Marcus, if you're ready, we'll just jump in. Joined by Markus Mueller, Managing Director and Co-founder of GauVendi, coming to us from Frankfurt, Germany. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thanks, Jason, for inviting me.
Oh, you bet. Coming from my background in hospitality, where we had a CRS, CRM, and an RMS, and we were in the process of integrating those three. And I saw this come across my desktop. I can't remember how, but you may have created a new category here because you've got elements of several of those technologies, I think including a PMS. Why don't you tell us what is your product and who is it for?
Yeah, thanks. And it's indeed a new category, and it's hard to describe where we fit in. I mean, in short, we call it a sales system because it handles everything about selling experiences. However, we're not a fully property management system, but we do enhance some capabilities of a property management system. We do enhance or replace a revenue management system with some new kind of logics. And we do definitely replace booking engines, what we call a sales engine, because we're going in a different way how we want to sell experiences. Like Amazon sells to us books, right? Other people who bought this book also bought this book. And I bought so many books in my life I didn't want to. And I thought, how can we apply that in hospitality? So we did something like that and basically constructed a sales engine where we can do the same thing on a granular level. Other people traveling with kids liked lower floor away from the elevator with access to the terrace, right? Which we refer to sometimes in the industry as attribute-based selling. We call it hyper-personalization because it's more about that personalized experience, sales experiences.
Yeah. So without getting too far into the weeds, explain exactly what problem you're solving and how does that what you just shortly described, how is that actually working real time, real world?
Okay, so well, the problem we're solving here is let me go to the problem first and who we're serving actually is kind of like is the hospitality industry from in general has pretty much lost the control of their own distribution somehow, right? So they don't know where their inventory is distributed. Other players are distributing in it much better, like OTAs, etc. And we basically enable the accommodation providers, which is our target, any aspect of accommodation operations, to sell their inventory in catering to traveler needs. So basically, not coming from a static logic, but creating dynamic products which are automatically geared towards traveler needs. So the problem we're solving here is we're maximizing the yield for real estate basically by taking, I call it idle assets, meaning things you could not monetize for now because you're categorizing your inventory in room categories. And we basically break out of this room category and we actually monetize idle room assets, high floor, low floor, away from the elevator and stuff like that. But also, we're able to we're also basically to personalize the guest needs. So connecting rooms next to each other. When you travel with your family or when you want you have specific needs, you always have to send in requests. And we basically solve that problem by getting instant confirmation of having complex, I would say, requests done online. And with that, you create more automation or have the ability to do automate more, which takes away administrative reservation time and allows people at front office to take more, to have more time for the guests and not taking part of changing rooms and all this kind of stuff.
And so it's I mean, so you have a booking engine element. So somebody comes to the hotel website and there could be 12 different types of rooms, right? Typical on a typical booking engine. But you as let's say, you and your spouse are coming with two kids, and it's on the beach. You're talking about being able to because your product is AI driven. You're talking about personalizing for those types of people, is that a questionnaire on the booking engine? What does that look
Yeah.
like? And
Well, exactly. I mean, that's exactly. I mean, it's not a questionnaire, but basically the challenge which we have is, let's say, if you have so many different needs and types of travel, why you're traveling, with whom you're traveling, for how long you're traveling, and so on. And the problem is the paradox of choice, right? Let's say if you would create this 12 room types into 50 products, you wouldn't be able to you take a week to make a decision. I mean, nobody wants to do that. And what we have done is it's about relevance and it's about transparency. And we took the approach that, let's say, we know a lot about the customer when they enter a purchase, when they make a purchase. So we know the IP address, we know how many people are traveling, we know the time, the stay dates, if you so will. And based on that scenarios, we can already propose different types of products. You always find a lowest price product if you're saying, I'm just coming in here for a price because I don't know the context. Here's the cheapest deal. You get that room, but you don't get a lot of preferences in it. But we also work with social proof stuff. Other people travel with this, want that, etc. This kind of stuff, and propose things. So we preempt saying, okay, that would be some products you might be interested in based on what we know about you. And the third aspect is we have a configurator, kind of like a car configurator. Okay, so we're saying high floor, low floor, bathroom setup, outdoor spaces, and so on and so forth. And you just pick your preferences and you get percentage matches played back. I always refer to this sometimes as a Tinder for rooms. So this is different kind of logics, buying or purchase logics. And we combined all this stuff into one, let's call it a new booking engine. We call it sales engine, therefore, where we can apply all the sales tactics and be much more relevant in terms of what we bring and what we can sell to a potential guest.
and of course, behind the sales engine or the booking engine, that's complicated. What you described is really, I mean, again, coming from the CRS world, and then we were dabbling in the RMS as the pandemic hit. You're also feeding pricing to these different scenarios that are
Yes.
created.
Yes. So we call it a polydynamic and feature-based experience platform. On that platform, we manage experiences on a granular way, let's say room experiences with these dimensions. And we hook ourselves we put ourselves connect to the property management system. And we enrich that data. So we do one-time onboarding where we ask housekeeping or get the reviews of hotel and really get as much data as possible and images for each individual room. And then we repackage that automatically and dynamically according to the travel needs. And we price it as well. So we do price individual attributes per day and also automatically. So if there's a high demand during the week for high floor, the rooms on the high floor will be priced higher than or more expensive than low floor during the week. But if it's the opposite, or for certain customer groups where low floor is in demand, for families or whatever, because they want to have access to the terrace or something like that, then those rooms might be more expensive. So it's really, really dynamic. And you said it's very complex. So that only works if you have a new data structure, which we have created, how you manage experiences. And if you work with machine learning and deep learning and do all that stuff, which is hot right now. But otherwise, you wouldn't be able to manage all that data points.
Right. And you've been around for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, right?
We launched the product 18 months, so the company is 2.5 years old now, so very young. We're live with about 40 properties, doing it, fantastic results. And
Yeah, what are those results? Like, what kind of feedback are you getting from your customers?
The first, I mean, there's a couple. Operational feedback would be less calls and inquiries online and over the phone. Everything is automated, up to 70% less, which is
Wow.
a big help for these
Yeah,
people.
because we can't find hoteliers to work in our hotels.
Exactly. So they can digitalize the sales process. And what we always say, sometimes we come in, that we're saying we digitalize the owner sales strategy or the best salesperson strategy. And that is then automated. So that's one feedback. The other one is that we make more money. On average, we do 20% higher average rates for the direct booking, so which comes through the online direct. That's the second thing. We do have some increased conversion rates, sometimes with triple conversion rates, but depends on the property again. And yeah, what was the third? Well, the ratings, customer guest ratings. The guest ratings improved because we managed expectations much better. Something which we learned very early is that we always wanted to hide the kind of the shitty rooms, right? So saying the rooms to the street, etc. And we learned, no, let's just call it rooms to the street, and we display it under the lowest price. So if you don't want to pay, you get the room to the street. But that's if you have that budget. If you don't want that room to the street, then pay more.
Yeah,
that's basically what the answer is. But you manage the expectations much better, and I think it's so much about guest expectation management, where we creating that transparency at the time of booking that we improve the guest ratings overall.
Yeah. Well, this sounds remarkable, Marcus. I mean, this is very exciting. I mean, I enjoyed hearing about what you've got going on there. And I thank you for spending time with me and telling us about this you're calling it a sales system?
Yeah, we're calling it a sales system.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. And let's stay in touch, and I want to see where this thing goes.
Appreciate it, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you.